Good afternoon. Welcome to another MakeMoreNoise.org screencast. In this screencast, I'm going to talk a little bit more about automation and the possibilities that are available. So the first thing we're going to do is load up a blank Logic session. So we'll hit New and Load Empty Project. I'm just going to create a stereo audio track. And I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, which I'm doing by holding down the Control key and using the downward arrow to zoom and then the right arrow to zoom. Okay, and now I'm going to switch on automation using the automation button here, hide show track automation, and we'll have a quick look at the options that are available. So at the moment you've got main, and then volume, pan, solo, or mute. Now if we add a plugin to the track, and in this instance we're going to load Logic's Tremolo plugin, and now click on the volume again and hold, you'll see we've got a new list here under Tremolo, which is the available parameters of the Tremolo plugin that can be automated. So let's drag in some audio and I'll show you what I mean. And we're just going to pick a synthy pad. Okay, we don't need the media browser anymore, so we can shut that down. I'm just going to make a copy by holding down Alt and dragging and make a loop. So we've got 4 bars we can play with. Now, the first thing to say is all the automation works in the same way. So if you understand volume automation, which works like this, click to create a node, click to create another node, and then you can drag those nodes around the screen. Just do that very quickly so you can see what I mean. And the volume will have turned down to nothing by the time we get to bar 2, and then back up again by the time we get to bar 3. And if you watch the fader here, you'll actually be able to see it move in real time. Okay, and if you don't like what you've done, you can simply click on the nodes and they'll disappear. So we're back where we started. Okay, now if we click and hold volume again and we select Tremolo, and we're going to go to rate because it's a really obvious one. It's very easy to hear what I'm doing that way. So as you can see, it's starting with a quarter note. And what we want it to do is by the time it gets to bar 2, we want it to have changed to an 8th or a 16th note. Let's make it a 16th, so it's a really obvious change. We're just going to make that a standard quarter note at the beginning rather than a dotted quarter. And if we zoom right in, you can see this is the rise time. So this is how quickly here it's going to change from a quarter note to an 8th note. We want the change to be almost immediate, so we're going to drag that node in as far as we can. Now if we drag it too far, you can see that the change has disappeared, and we drag it back to the left again, bring that back. So that's as close as we can get it without that node disappearing. So let's have a quick listen to that. And we'll do the same again on this bar. So we'll click to create another node. We'll line that up so it's perfectly on the beat. And put another node in front of it. And we'll drag that up to a 30-second note. Same idea again. Drag it in as close as we can until it disappears. And then back left so we can see exactly where we're going. And finally, we'll create one more set of nodes and we'll go back to the quarter note we had at the beginning. So same idea again, drag it in as close as we can. Now that's fine if you want to just automate one parameter. And what you can actually do now is you can go back to your drop-down menu here and select a different parameter. So for argument's sake, we'll go back to the tremolo and we'll do symmetry in this particular example. And now it will change that setting so that we've got symmetry at the front, and the previous automation we've done, you can probably just about make here at the back. It's slightly darkened down, but it's still there. So let's automate some symmetry. Okay, and what does that sound like? Now, if you want to work on 2 parameters at once, what you do is you click on these triangles here at the bottom left-hand corner of the track header, and we can actually see both of our parameters simultaneously. So if we wanted to do a pan in conjunction with our symmetry, our rate, hit that triangle again, and we'll select pan. And then we've got pan available here to automate. So what we'll do is we'll go right to the top. And then we can see all three of our parameters all at the same time. And if again you look down on the channel strip here, you can see the pan knob moving in real time. Now what happens if you're to add another plugin? So in this particular example, we're going to add a tape delay. And say we only want that on for the 3rd and the 4th bar. The logical thing to do would be to automate it so it bypasses at that point. Okay, so how would we do that? So we'll just zoom in a little bit so we can keep all of these parameters viewable at the same time. Use the drop down triangle again, and then we go back to main, and then we've got these new controls here that weren't available to us before, which are insert 1 bypass and insert 2 bypass. So insert 1 bypass will bypass whatever's in the first slot. In this example, it's tremolo. And insert 2 bypass will bypass whatever's in the second slot, which is tape delay. So let's select that. And we'll have it bypass for the first 2 bars. And then we'll have it switching itself on for the second 2 bars. Again, if you look at the bypass knob here on the actual tape delay, you'll be able to see the point at which it switches on. And that's a very basic introduction to automating plugins. Now this works with all the inbuilt plugins that come with Logic, and also works with third-party stuff as well. So the important things to remember are the parameters are not available to you for the plugins until you've inserted them on the track. The bypasses are dependent on the order they're in on the track. So if you've got bypass 1, that would be tremolo, and insert 2, that would be tape delay. I hope that was some help to somebody out there. Thank you for watching another MakeMoreNoise.org screencast.